My colleague, our deputy editor Rahul Rawat, is in Nagpur getting us the very latest and getting us his perspective on that. Also welcoming Sunil Gavaskar on the show. Thank you so much for your time. Privileged to have you, Mr. Gavaskar. I want to begin by asking you, much anticipated series. But first test match, is really an anticlimax?
It certainly was, because you didn't expect the Australians to collapse in the manner that they did. Yes, it was always on the cards that in the first test, a touring team does struggle before they get used to the kind of conditions, etc. And I don't think the Australians helped themselves by not coming and playing some practice games, albeit it might have been against the kind of net bowlers that they use. But if they had actually played a game, that might have helped them considerably.
Rahul, what's your take on this? This is a bit of an anti-climax in your opinion.
Well, that's right, Sneha. Mr. Gavaskar has already pointed out. A lot was being spoken about this series, highly anticipated one, and everybody thought that Australia would be a tough nut to crack as far as the Indians. Of course, India had the edge playing at home. In home conditions, they had the advantage of preparing the kind of wickets they wanted, but this was not a bad wicket. It was a bad display of cricket from the Australians. They won an important toss, by the way. They wanted to bat first. They got to bat and they got to bat first. Eventually being bowled out for 177. And that set the tone. Perhaps the first over of this match that Shami bowled, it set the tone of the match and things to come. And I think more so because mentally, perhaps the Australians had already lost this game even before they had stepped onto the field. The spinners, Ravichandran Ashwin, Ravi Jadeja, and with the way on the same wicket, Australia gets bowled out for 91 and 177. And on the very same wicket, India scores 400 runs with a century from Rohit Sharma, then 2 half centuries from Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel. That tells you the story that this wicket and the Indian spinners were into the minds of the Australians.
Yes. Rahul, just coming back to you in a moment, from now, is, Mr. Gavaskar, embarrassing loss for Australia. What's your sense?
Yeah, well, I think you expect an Australian team to do a lot better. But I think what will certainly help them is in case they get off to a good start. It doesn't have to be a start like 150 or thereabouts, but even if they get off to a start of 50, 60 by their opening batters, that'll go a long way in helping them.
Right, Rahul, India-Australia fight on the cricket pitch is always legendary. So where would you put this win, really? How would you rate it?
Well, it's certainly a great win, a great way to start this Border Gavaskar Trophy. And as you said, India share a great rivalry with this Australian team, especially in the last 2.5 decades, ever since that 2001 epic victory in Kolkata for the Indians. The Australians have got the best out of the Indians, and Indians also have reciprocated in the same manner. But this victory, as I said earlier, they are the world number one. They are the number one ranked test team in the world. They, for sure, Australia most likely will play the World Test Championship final. Although the Indians, they still have to make it to the finals. Hopefully, with this victory, they've cleared that path for themselves, and maybe for the Border Gavaskar Trophy to be retained as well, because I think the demons of this loss will affect Australians for a long time. And you have 3 test matches to be played. And next test match is in Delhi. It won't be easy there because it's a slow turner. The wicket there is a slow turner. The Australians, if they don't get their act together, they will struggle there as well.
Mr. Gavaskar, you think Australians were consumed by all this talk around the pitch? There were many reports in the Australian media criticizing the pitch.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That they've been spooked by their own media. Who's been doing the talking? Not the Indian media. Nobody in India has been talking about it. It's only their own media which has made such a hullabaloo about the pitch, that this was not done, that was not done, this was not done. And I would imagine that they've talked about, the left-handers, not being done for the left-handers. Two of our left-handers got 150 between them, 70, 80 between the two left-handers. So, I think if the Aussies are smart, they'll tell their own media, hello guys, let us play our cricket. You do what you have to write.
Mr. Gavaskar, a brilliant turn undoubtedly from Captain Rohit Sharma. A word on his performance.
Well, it was a captain's innings. A captain's innings where he recognized that he had to show the way, and he showed the way, because it wasn't easy to bat on, because he likes a pitch where the ball comes onto the bat quite nicely. And this pitch, although there was not the kind of turn that people were talking about, was a pitch where the ball didn't quite come onto the bat. So for him to show the kind of enormous patience that he did, to be able to show the application that he did, to be able to show along with that partnership that, look, we need a lead, we need a substantial lead to make sure that we don't have to bat and chase too many in the second innings. In the event, of course, they won by an innings, they didn't have to bat at all. But yes, I think it was the captain's innings, and he led from the front.
Rahul is also with us. Rahul, a brilliant turn from Captain Rohit Sharma, and when he spoke, he did sound very confident. He said, I've been here, done this in the past as well. I'm going to bounce back, and I did. What do you have to say about what he said?
That's right. That's right, Sneha. There was some sort of pressure. See, he has, in fact, in the past 1 year, he never played a test match in the last 1 year. As he also said, there would be something or the other, an injury, a hamstring injury, a thumb injury. He has been plagued by these injuries, and because of which he had to miss so many test matches. He comes back. By the way, this is his first test run as or rather first century as the test captain. So, every time the Indian team, because you didn't know how the pitch would behave the first day when the Indians saw or how the Australians crumbled for 177. You would have thought that this is a tough wicket. Rohit Sharma came out to bat, and he straight away attacked the Australian bowlers. That set the tone for things to come. And the next day, he was completely different batsman. He applied himself, got to that 120, very crucial one, especially in these kind of low-scoring matches. Of course, the Indians batted really well to get to 400, but at times in these low-scoring matches, one innings can separate the two teams. Maybe, it was an all-round show from the Indians, but maybe that 120 gave India the confidence that this pitch is not as bad as the Australians made it look like.
Mr. Gavaskar, what a comeback really by Ravindra Jadeja. He speaks about the fact that he gave his 100%. Player of the match, word on him.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, here is a man who's been performing regularly for India. He has an injury, he's out of the team. Akshar Patel comes in, grabs his opportunity, and that is just such a fantastic thing for Indian cricket, to be able to have bench strength where players are ready to take over, and full marks to the BCCI for the way the A tours, the emerging country tournaments that they were playing, has certainly given them that bench strength. But Jadeja's comeback has been tremendous. We didn't see much of his fielding. He was, unobtrusive at about mid-on or thereabouts. But as a bowler, he was on target from bang on one. And as a batter, once again showing that he now is going to score more and more runs for India, that his wicket will have to be earned by the opposition.
Rahul, what a comeback that we've been talking about. Your take on what really happened as far as the player of the match is concerned today?
Well, to be honest, when this game started, you didn't know what Jadeja will come up with, because for the past 5 months, he hadn't played any competitive game. The Ranji Trophy game that he played against Tamil Nadu was the only game to show for his credentials in the last 5 months. But then he comes up with a brilliant first innings performance with the ball, a 5-wicket haul that allowed India, the moment you bowl out the opposition for 177 in the first innings, that is advantage you as Team India. Then, as Sunny said, his batting, well, he has taken the bar to a new level. 25, if you look at his records in Test cricket, he's like a jewel. Everybody would want to have a player like Jadeja in their team. an average of 37, 38 in test matches with the bat. With the bat and with the ball, an average of 24. 250 wickets, close to 250 wickets, and close to 2,500 runs with the bat. Anybody would like to have a player like Ravindra Jadeja in his team.
Okay, now let's talk about KL Rahul. I'm going to ask this question to Mr. Gavaskar. Do you think Rahul should be now in the 11 in the next test?
It is a tough call. It is a tough call because you have somebody like a Shubman Gill waiting in the wings. And what we have seen with the way Akshar Patel has responded just tells you that, the bench strength is ready. Bench strength ready, waiting to be given an opportunity. My feeling is that Rahul will get to play in the next test match in Delhi.
Okay.
That's for sure. Maybe after that, they might have a look at it. But it's also fair for somebody who's been a regular part of the Indian Test 11 to be given another opportunity.
All right, Rahul, last word from you and a quick reply on what you think, whether Rahul really should be included in the 11 in the next test. Will he have to wait for a longer period? What's your sense?
Well, the great man, Mr. Gavaskar, has already voiced his opinion, so I don't need to add much. But yes, I would go with Mr. Gavaskar that KL Rahul will get another opportunity because the squad for only the first two tests has been named. So if there is a problem with his performance in the second test in Delhi, because he got just one opportunity here. So if there's a problem with his performance in the Delhi test, I think Shubman Gill will surely open in the third test, wherever it may happen, because there is a confusion over that also, whether it is going to be moved out of Dharamshala or not.
Okay.
So that's where KL Rahul's position stands in this team as of now.
Rahul, I'm going to thank you for joining us with your views on that. Also thanking Mr. Gavaskar, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar for joining in with his perspective on that match and what we are tracking very, very closely. That brings us to the end of this edition. Much more news on the other side. Thanks for watching.